Greetings and welcome. This is a short guide about professional inquiry, an inquiry-based professional development tool to help teachers refine their ability to work as a professional learning community. The best practice components of professional inquiry may include collaboration with teacher colleagues, examination of student work, peer review, analysis of data, reflection on the professional inquiry process, what was learned and what the next steps may be, and action-based research. As outlined in Critical Links, there are 7 steps of professional inquiry. Those steps include 1. Create a learning community. 2. Develop individual questions for that inquiry. 3. Create an inquiry plan. 4. Collect evidence to answer the inquiry question. 5. Share the initial findings. 6. Organize and weigh the evidence that was gathered. 7. Share conclusions from the inquiry. The first step in the professional inquiry process is to create a learning community. In this case, your PAINT, Perpich Arts Integration Network for Teachers team, is already a learning community, and it is made up of members who exhibit the core principles of professional learning communities. Those include ensuring that the focus is what students are learning. Second, a culture of collaboration. And thirdly, a focus on results. With your team of colleagues, work together to select one of the 3 suggested topics that best fit your team's interest. Those 3 topics are co-teaching, to deepen student thinking, and technology as it relates to the learning process. Now that you've identified the general topic, the next step is to select a question for your inquiry. What makes a great inquiry question? Perhaps it's useful to apply the SMART strategy. S, representing specific. Keep a narrow focus for your inquiry. M, measurable. Be clear about how you will measure success. A, attainable. The goals need to be achievable for your students. R, realistic. The goals need to be practical for your classroom situation. And finally, T, timely. Set and follow timelines, both for yourself and for your students. Once you and your colleagues have developed an inquiry question, the next step would be to develop an inquiry plan. Quality indicators for an inquiry plan would include: focus first on evidence that you will gather. Be intentional about your work. Stay focused on a single important issue of student learning. Be clear about the connection between your inquiry question and the evidence that you will gather. And expect that your plan will change and be open to new possibilities. As you implement your inquiry plan, it will be important to collect evidence that leads to answers to your inquiry question. Consider that the evidence you gather may take many forms. It may include student assessments in a variety of forms, student interviews, think-alouds, video or audio recordings, surveys, portfolios, and there are other options available to you as well. Keep the possibilities open. As you gather evidence generated by your students, it's important to share initial findings with your colleagues. Share these findings in order to review your inquiry question, once again using the SMART components, to make connections between what you have gathered in terms of evidence and your inquiry question, to refine steps in your inquiry plan as you continue your process, to share surprises, and to get feedback on your interpretation of the evidence that you have gathered so far. As you come to a conclusion of your inquiry process, it's important to organize and weigh the evidence that you have gathered in a way that best connects to your inquiry question. Questions that you may ask are, what evidence offers the most specific and clear insights about your question? And how can this evidence be most clearly illustrated and explained? The final step in the professional inquiry process is to share conclusions with your colleagues and, of course, with other interested parties. Summarize what you now know in relation to your inquiry question. What questions do you now have as a result of your inquiry process? And what would be next steps as a result of those questions? We hope that this guide about professional inquiry is useful to you, and that you will use these steps to answer important questions about the teaching and learning process. Check out this link to minartseducation.org to find a wide variety of professional development ideas.